Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be talking about tools that you're going to need to build iOS apps, or you can actually, once you have these tools, you can build apps for iOS, tvOS, iPad, Mac, or visionOS, even watchOS as well. So the tools actually, tool set for the Apple ecosystem is pretty consolidated inside this single tool that's called Xcode. Now, if you, first of all, the bare minimum requirement is to have a Mac. Once you have a Mac, now what you need is basically, you need to go into the App Store and search for Xcode. As soon as you find the Xcode, you actually go in there, and since I already have it installed, you're gonna basically see a get button, I see open button, and it takes a few minutes to install Xcode and set it up, and that's all you need to do. Basically, after that, you are ready to go. Now, in this particular course, we are using a newer version, a beta version of Xcode, Xcode 26. The current production version is 16.4, which is out there in App Store. Now, if you need to download the beta version, you need to have Apple developer account. Now for that, you have to go to developer.apple.com website, and you need to have an account. Now, account creation is free, although a full-fledged Apple developer account is paid. $99 a year is the fee that you pay, and with that flat fee, you can actually publish apps, you can run your apps on devices, distribute them to your friends and family, and all that good stuff. So it's worth checking out. But if you don't want to right away get started with a paid account, you can create a free account and explore some of the features. So as soon as you land on developer.apple.com and create a free account and log in, let me go ahead and log in and show you. So I'm logging in, and once you're logged into your developer account, you actually get to this screen. Now, this is not the screen that we want. What we want is basically something that says downloads, which is all the way at the bottom. So you go at the bottom and you see resources, documentation, tutorial, and you see a download. So click on downloads. And as soon as you land on download, you're gonna see a few options. So you have download options for your operating system, and you have downloading options for your applications. This is where you're gonna find your beta software. So what do you see here is Xcode 26 beta 3. Now beta 3 is basically something that's currently available at the time of recording, but maybe when you're watching, Xcode 26 is completely out in production, and when you install from the App Store, you would get Xcode 26, which is also fine. So we're going to be using features that are pretty set in stone. I haven't seen them changing between different beta versions, and it's been same. So those are the features that we're going to be using. One of the main features that we are going to look at few of the things that we can do with the liquid glass. Liquid glass is a new design that Apple has introduced in WWDC 25, and this makes your app look or your controls look a little bit more fluid. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So specifically, if we go back into our simulator, and let me close this. Okay, this is not what we need. We need this one. Okay, so this is one of the features. So you can see how glass-like effect is basically created when you're changing the tab, right? So this is one of the features that we're going to use. And the other feature that we're going to use that you're going to see is basically this button glass effect. And liquid glass is basically smart, so it actually adopts according to the background. So you see this button right here, it changes its appearance based on the content. It's like, content is like, on the top of, right? So that is like, liquid glass. And this is what we're going to be leveraging all basically with the production release. What you're going to see is like, more and more features come out. One of the other feature that we're going to see is like, as you scroll your app, your tab bar goes to the side, leaving you the entire real estate for you to use. So that's another like, cool feature that is there, and we'd love to use that one. So, okay, so those are like, a couple of things. Oh, actually a subtitle as well, like navigation title and a subtitle. We're going to go over this like, once again when we are building it. Let me set this aside. So once you install the Xcode, you're gonna land on this screen where it shows you create a new project. Okay, so if it doesn't show you, then you just click on File, New, and then you create a new project right here. You would land on the screen. Now, as you can see, that this screen actually helps you create a whole bunch of things. You can create iOS apps, games, augmented reality apps. You can create frameworks, static libraries, metal shaders. It's not limited to just iOS. You have macOS apps, you have watchOS related stuff, tvOS, visionOS, driver kit, and you have others where like, you can build some other like, utilities. Okay. Now, if you want to build something that can be available universally across like, different Apple devices or different types of Apple devices, essentially within the Apple ecosystem, then you create something called multi-platform app. Okay, and this will create a variation that will like, have your app run in iOS, not on Android, iOS, iPad OS, your Vision OS, Mac OS, Watch OS. So it's like, basically available in multiple different platforms, hence the name multi-platform. Okay, so once you've selected, we're going to select iOS. Okay, once you've selected iOS, you choose the app template and you click next. This is where you actually start defining what you want to call your app. Okay, and what you want to call your app is basically your choice, how you want to like, what you're trying to create. In our case, we are trying to create a DevTechie Courses app, so we're gonna name it that way. Okay, now select your team if you have a paid Apple developer license, or you have an Apple developer account. Go ahead and sign in with your team. Now, organization identifier is something that is basically a unique identifier that identifies your app uniquely, okay, in the entire App Store. So it has to be, the reason I'm emphasizing on unique, because it has to be like, only one can exist in App Store. So, which is why you're going to see this as a common pattern where people just reverse domain their organization. So com.devtechie is the organization identifier for us in this case. And what it does is it creates a bundle identifier. Sorry, organization identifier is not the unique identifier. Bundle identifier created out of organization identifier and product name. Combination of these becomes your bundle identifier, which is unique in the entire App Store. Okay, so your bundle identifier is created combining your org, which is your reverse domain, and your product name. So this right here is your unique identifier for your app, and Apple uses this to launch your app, and there are other applications to this. For example, let's say if you have an app installed on your phone and Apple wants to launch your app from an external link, let's say you sent a marketing link, well, Apple will use this bundle identifier to identify which app can be opened, and you can actually create that association using something called deep link. That's a little bit more advanced topic, so we have covered it in one of the courses on devtechie.com, so you can check out that, but many future courses will also handle this. Anyways, let's go ahead and keep going. We have interfaces. Now Xcode support two different interfaces or UX platforms, user experience platforms. So one is SwiftUI, which we're going to be using, and another one is Storyboard, which is backed by UIKit. Now UIKit has been around for a very long time, and it is a very matured platform. SwiftUI is relatively new. It's 6 years old, and it's been growing, and it has increased. It's basically increased in popularity because how easy it is to build stuff in SwiftUI. So SwiftUI is new. It is widely adopted, and but that does not mean that UIKit does not make any sense. UIKit, there are thousands of organizational apps, big companies, they still build their apps in UIKit, so it's always worth to learn about UIKit as well. Now, while this course is going to focus on SwiftUI, okay, because we are getting started with something new, and SwiftUI, when you're starting new, is way to go. Okay, now languages. SwiftUI supports just Swift as a language, but if you were to choose Storyboard, then you have a choice of Objective-C or Swift to write your code. Now we're going to go back in SwiftUI, and we're going to leave the language as Swift because that's the only language that SwiftUI can be written. Then you have your testing system. If you want to create your unit tests or automation, you can actually choose one of the testing systems. We're going to leave it as none. Then after that, you have storage. Basically, this is your database, how you want to persist your data. Now, we are not using any of these storage systems, Swift data or core data, so we're going to leave this as none as well. Now, as soon as you click next, the Xcode is going to want to try to find out where you want to save this app. So it'll ask for your location, and then you actually will be able to save your app. So let me go ahead and save the app on off screen, and I will come back when the app is created. Okay, so I saved the app, and now the app is created. Let me go ahead and resize it to make sure that it is covering the entire recorded screen. And we're gonna talk about the interface in our next video. So our project is being created. It'll be ready by the time we hop onto the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.